Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 44. After the big crime scare of the last video, we are more or less back to normal, I believe. Since the new hub is not going to be operational until the railroad leading to it is fully electrified, we need to occupy ourselves with working on small jobs around the already civilized parts of the country. I don't really see much point in continuing the new city yet, so our time is better spent around Estergrad. We will do a little decorating, a bit of extra constructions to smooth out the service issues, things like that. But we will also plan out a new farm area near the new construction hub, so it will be ready to be built as soon as we are good to go. So, as I've said, we will start with a bit of decorating. This end of the island has been a bit barren, so let's fill it up with things. This little area behind the apartments should be perfect for a sports ball field. Yeah, the smallest one will have to do. The other ones felt like a bit of an overkill. Some people still struggle with getting meat, even though the supply should be pretty constant at this point. The store occupancy seemed manageable, but just in case, I decided to build yet another shop in the area. Well, let's get back to decorating. It's about time we got to work on this apartment block. It's been sitting here unattended for quite a while now. Nice, a perfect corner. Another thing we are really lacking in the area are monuments. We had a nice spread in the other parts of the city, but this end of the island has been a bit neglected in this department. This Lenin statue would have been pretty good right here, but I simply couldn't connect up the necessary footpaths for construction. Maybe once we have helicopters I will revisit the idea. I didn't want to put it in front of the building itself, so let's shelve it for now. But this spot looks okay. We still need something with a bit of extra inspiration, and the red star is the best in this department. Placing it in the area will do more for the loyalty of our people than anything we could build right now. Maybe behind the substation. We can cover it up with some trees later. And the coastal railroad is progressing nicely. The upper lane already finished the segment before the bridge, and the rail construction office still had the necessary reach for auto assignment. Still, we better keep an eye on it. We will get to a point where that reach will not be long enough. Anyways, let's get back to decorating. I've been meaning to do this since forever. We have a welcome sign on the other bridge leading to the island, so we should have the same here. These will be perfect for the tried and tested small monuments. As usual, I didn't want footpaths going to them, so I just went with some temporary dirt ones. The middle area can be filled in with some trees and bushes. Before I forget, we still have these flower beds, so let's place a few at the entrances. As usual, building things in town really puts a big strain on the intersection here. This will cause a small power outage again later, but thankfully, I don't expect to see any more big projects in this area. Now, I think I did mention in the intro that we will also work on a new farming area. And this is where we will get to work on that. First, we need an expansive flat area to work on. This looks like a good candidate. Let's start by placing the fields first, so we can be extra sure that they will fit. This is where I should be using the grid snapping feature. Don't worry, I will realize this when I start placing the second batch. Also, I highly doubt that this will be the final layout. But it's good to double check that they will fit. So, we have 9 fields on that side. Placing another 9 will give us a nice and even 18. That will leave us with 2 extra buildings to play with when it comes to the distribution office assignments. There. 18 big farm fields. And there is plenty of room to spare. When the time comes to place the final arrangement, we won't need to worry about running out of space. And here's that power outage. All that traffic can be a real hazard sometimes. Things seem to be back to normal though, so let's hold back on doing too many constructions on this end of the island from now on. The new shopping center is done. Let's sort out the deliveries. Also, this did remind me to stop using the other DO to deliver to this end of the island. Now we just need to set up the meat deliveries, and it's done. Might as well take care of the line names too. Now that the red star is done, I decided to place some gravel foundations around it. And then we just place some foliage on the edges, and we can call it done. At this point, there is no reason to keep people out of the brick apartments, so let's open those too. It seems the RCO was close enough to auto-assign the segment after the first tunnel. But I highly doubt it will be able to do the same after the second tunnel, so let's keep an eye on it. I also decided to cap off the embankments right where they are now. I might revisit them in the future, but at this very moment, I don't feel like they would contribute much if I kept building them. They look amazing as they are now, but I don't think it would fit in around the prison, for example. Oh right, the food. Let's keep working on the new farm. I think I will keep this place as a farm only, and do the food processing somewhere closer to the town. So for now, we only need a train station, and some grain silos. We are obviously going to use the biggest storages we have access to. Might as well go for a perfectly symmetrical setup. Let's make sure the mirroring is done correctly. I really need to get into the habit of building long rail switches. If I did the short ones in Transport Fever 2, things would slow down way too much. I think we can squeeze in 2 more silos. Yeah, I can see the error in the symmetry now. For some reason, I didn't notice it while I was building. I will definitely need to fix it. But for now, let's focus on placing the second set of fields. This time, with grid snapping. That should speed things up a little. Oh yeah, we will definitely need to revisit the way we place the fields before we finalize things around here. When we go for the final arrangement, we still have plenty of space to work with. I'm pretty confident this place was always meant to be used for farms by the map creator. So far so good. We still need a couple things, one of which is the farm building itself. Might as well go for the biggest one. We know that a medium one can deal with one set of fields, and the big one has more than double the parking spaces, so it is more than what we really need. We also need some distribution offices. 2 should be enough per side, but just in case we need more, I went with 3. And as I suspected, the RCO couldn't reach the rail segment after the second tunnel. From now on, we need to keep a close eye on their work, and need to make sure they are always busy. But, they did just manage to electrify the coastal railroad in less than 1 episode. Not bad at all. Anyways, where were we? Oh, the distribution offices. As I've said, we will place 6, 3 for each side. A nice orderly setup. Just the way I like it. To cap things off, we only need a power substation. Since all the relevant buildings have internal fuel storages, I don't think I will bother with a fuel station here. No buses will come here, since the food processing will be done close to town, so I see no reason to include one. The biggest benefit of that is that we don't need to bring workers all the way out there, we only need to use trains to pick up the harvest and take it where it's needed. The new store seemed to be doing okay. I did forget to set up the space allocations though, we better make sure it's done right. And I'm really glad to see some extra crops being stored in the silo. Before, we were struggling to keep it stocked, but adding those 2 extra big fields seemed to have made a big difference. Let's take a look at the food production. We made about 2,000 tons this year. And consumed a little over 1,600. We are still overproducing, which I am relieved to see. We didn't catch up to the level of exporting yet, but we should be back there in the near future. Looking at the lumber exports did remind me to replant the forest again. I stopped the exports a bit late, so the woodcutters did go a bit overboard. Looking at the stone quarry, I think I just had an idea. Let's see if we can do it right now. We have all the machinery on standby. Let's go for it. You know how normally, stone quarries are chipping away at the side of big hills and mountains. I decided to recreate that here. First, we need a place for the excavators to park themselves while we deal with the new setup. Since we are not really building anything big, apart from the rail catenaries, I think this is the perfect time to disrupt the gravel supply. We have plenty of it stored up, so we will be fine. Once the dumpers go away, we can get to work. So, we need to bring the terrain down. At first I went with the leveling tool, but I soon realized that we have a better alternative. Instead of struggling with the dedicated tools, we can just use the ghost image leveling. We would need to switch to it when we reach the bedrock anyways, so might as well start using it now. Alright, we are at the bedrock now. Things will go a bit slower from now on, but we don't need to go too deep, so it will be done relatively quickly. Okay, I think this is plenty deep enough. We had 3 quarries before. I don't think we need more than that. Yeah, that should do the trick. As usual, doing terrain alterations did result in a bit of floating grass, but it should be temporary anyway. We only need to add the gas station, and we are pretty much ready to build the quarries. This place only needs a couple touches with the smoothing tool, and maybe a couple trees and bushes. The lower lane on the railroad is past the last big bridge. We can start working on the tracks leading to the actual construction hub now. Good thing the quarries require very little in terms of materials and work hours to build. We can easily finish them in this episode. And the materials are all on site. We just need to take care of the actual work required. And the food warehouse should be ready for an export run pretty soon. Really happy to see things back to normal. The thing about unemployment in the area, we are not really hurting for workers anywhere in particular. So I think I might have overextended our available workforce a little. I mean, a 4% unemployment isn't too bad, but I would still prefer to give everyone a job if I could. And would you look at that? Both lanes are past the last water bridge. At this point, we have one rail segment leading into another, so it should require a bit less supervision from now on. And the quarries are done. We can start reassigning vehicles and lines to them, so we can start making gravel once more. And that about does it. We have a nicer looking quarry now. Instead of being on a hill, it now looks like the excavators are actually chipping away at the cliffs. Might as well take a screenshot for the thumbnail now. And I think this is it for today. I'm really hoping that we could finish electrifying the tracks until the new construction hub in the next one, or if we can't, then the episode after. After that, we can start moving the materials over, and start bringing in the workers needed for the asphalt and concrete plants. As for the actual proper workforce, I think we will have to rely on using foreigners for that too. The helicopters should be able to help with that. Once all that is up and running, we can at long last start working on the actual town. That will be a big leap forward for us. At that point, we can continue planning out the city proper, and once people are living there, we can start expanding the industries in the surrounding area. Can't wait. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, then leaving a like and subscribing to the channel just might motivate me to make more. If you are more in the donating mood, you can find a link to my Ko-fi page in the description, where you can buy me a glass of water. I don't really drink coffee. Thank you for your support, and until next time, I will see you later.